In the autumn of 1404, the Yongle Emperor ruled from the Forbidden City with absolute confidence in the stability of his borders. For months, the emperor had accepted a clean, orderly narrative from his southern neighbor, Annam. Diplomats assured him that the ruling Chen royal line had naturally died out without an heir. Operating on these assurances, he had officially endorsed a man named Hu Di, who claimed to be the son of a Chen woman, to temporarily manage state affairs. The emperor believed his southern border was secure. In reality, the most powerful ruler in the world was the victim of a calculated, massive diplomatic manipulation orchestrated by a vassal state. In September of that year, a man dressed in a merchant's disguise arrived at the border, telling guards he had survived by living in deep poverty among wild savages in the mountains. His true identity was Pei Boqi, an attendant minister whose family had served Annam for generations. His report to the emperor shattered the illusion of peace. The royal Chen family had not died out naturally. They had been systematically slaughtered. Pei named the perpetrators, a prominent minister named Li Jili and his son, who had executed their lord and wiped out over 110 members of the ruling family, including his own wife and children. With a single interview, a once routine diplomatic relationship dissolved into an active investigation of a state-sponsored massacre. Pei Boqi described profound grief over the destruction of his family and the total collapse of the court he had spent his life serving. He explained the sheer audacity of the new regime. Li Jili had reinvented his entire lineage, changing his name to Hu Yi Yuan, declaring himself a divine descendant of the ancient Emperor Shun. This diagram illustrates the mechanics of the usurpation. The perpetrators executed the royal family and erased the Chen state entirely, illegally declaring a new dynasty they called Great Yu. In just a mere matter of months, decades of previous administrative stability were abruptly replaced by a violent, bloody usurpation. The Ming emperor was witnessing the systemic theft and erasure of a sovereign nation's identity. 1 month later, the court received a second survivor. His name was Chen Tian-ping, the surviving grandson of the former king. Where the minister Pei Boqi reported the collapse of a government, the prince described raw terror. His attempt to organize a counter-rebellion failed, forcing him into a desperate flight from pursuing armies. He survived by hiding in deep, remote valleys, scavenging for whatever he could pick to eat, nearly starving to death before eventually reaching safety in neighboring Laos. Chen detailed the specific mechanics of the Hu family's control. They had cycled through a series of puppet kings, including an infant still in swaddling clothes, executing each one as soon as they outlived their usefulness. This map illustrates the immediate geopolitical consequences. Under the usurpers, Annam's borders were pushing aggressively outward, violently seizing territory from Champa and Ming. Chen's testimony shifted the crisis from an internal coup to a matter of regional instability. The Hu family was now expanding directly toward the Ming frontier. The emperor possessed the motive and the means to respond, but he required irrefutable proof. Mobilizing a massive imperial army on the word of 2 desperate refugees was a profound risk. The opportunity to verify their claims arrived in January 1405, when Annam envoys traveled to the Ming court to offer the customary New Year's felicitations. The emperor prepared a trap. He arranged for the exiled prince to be hidden away, waiting for the precise moment of confrontation. As the Annam envoys presents their respects, Chen Tian-ping was suddenly brought out and paraded directly in front of them. This carefully orchestrated sting operation bypassed diplomatic pleasantries to force a raw, immediate reaction from the men representing the usurper. The envoys instantly recognized the former king's grandson. Shocked and confused, they bowed to the floor. Several burst into tears. Pei Boqi immediately stepped forward, interrogating the terrified men about their conduct. Fearful of the exposure, the envoys remained entirely speechless. Looking at the terrified diplomats, the emperor realized the full extent of the manipulation. He had accepted their lies. He had officially recognized the man who murdered their ruler. His final assessment was total condemnation. He declared to his attendants that even the ministers were deceitful, calling Annam a country full of criminals, whose actions could no longer be tolerated. The deception was fully exposed. With the false narrative of peace dismantled, the Ming court prepared for a full-scale military response.